تكاد السماوات يتفطرن من فوقهن والملائكة يسبحون بحمد ربهم ويستغفرون لمن في الأرض ألا إن الله هو الغفور الرحيم.
تقال العثار العظام به ويغدو الهوى ككبش ذبيح بذكر.
I narrate from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he said the 5 daily prayers, and from Jumu'ah to Jumu'ah, yani from the Jumu'ah to the next Jumu'ah, and from Ramadan to Ramadan, are an expiation of what comes between them. I.e., when you reach Ramadan and you fast Ramadan successfully, then it is an expiation for everything that happened up until the previous Ramadan or between the previous Ramadan. So all the sins that you did between one Ramadan and the next are wiped out by fasting Ramadan. إِذَا اجْتَنَبَ الْكَبَائِرِ, if a person avoids the major sins. And so this explanation really has 2 parts to it. Firstly, that we recognize the virtue of Ramadan in wiping out our sins, and that Ramadan is a way to wipe out the sins that came before it. All of the sins that came before it, from Ramadan to the next Ramadan. That when you fast this month of Ramadan, insha'Allah ta'ala, all of those sins are wiped out that you did during the year since the last Ramadan. But there is one condition, and that condition is that you avoid the major sins. And so the purpose of this reminder is to remind everybody, myself and all of you, to avoid the major sins in Ramadan so that we can get this huge reward and this huge virtue. And of course we have to avoid them outside of Ramadan, but especially, coming to this month, that we realize that the major sins, they get in the way of these expiation and the prayer and the Jumu'ah that is wiping out our sins. Those major sins, they come in the way and they get in the way. So it's very, very important that when we are fasting, we avoid the major sins, and as we continue through Ramadan and outside of Ramadan, we continue to be from those people who avoid the major sins so that we can get this huge reward of Ramadan being an expiation for us, insha'Allah ta'ala.
تكلم والشجرة مني سيف الهم تراه استل سيف الهم تراه استل